Hi, I'm Steve Cocknell from Allett Mowers, and today I'm going to show you how to change the belts for the cylinder and the rear roller on a Liberty 43. First we need to remove the side guard. So we're going to use the 5mm Allen key supplied with the machine, and we want to release the 4 fixings on the cover. So now we've got access to the drive system. So the front belt we've got here is for the cylinder, and then the rear one here is for the rear roller drive. So if we come to a situation where the cylinder is stalling, and we have got the option to adjust the tension by this midway tensioner here. That basically operates within a slot, and we can put more or less tension onto this drive belt. So using a 13mm spanner, we just release the nylock in the centre. We can then adjust that pulley within the slot to put more or less tension on this drive belt. Same as if we are looking to remove the belt as well for inspection or replacement. If we release this centre guide roller fully, we can then remove the belt. When replacing the belt, so we want to locate it over the top pulley, and just be careful that there are 2 belt guides here, so we need to sit within those. If we are located on the outside, then we are going to wear these plastic guides away, so we need to just be inside those. Locate it round the bottom drive pulley, and then push the guide roller. We want about 10mm of deflection for the belt for the correct tension, and then just lock that into position. If we need access to the rear roller belt to remove or just to inspect, then what we need to do is first remove the cylinder drive belt. So we're going to release the centre guide roller, remove the belt, and then we need to remove the nylock that's at the top here, which is an M12, because we need to remove this pulley to get access to the belt behind. So to do that, we need to remove this side guard so we can secure the drive shaft to allow us to remove this nylock nut. So we need to remove the cartridge first. So using a 5mm Allen key, release the 2 cartridge securing fixings. We remove the cartridge. We've then got access to the fixing then for this guard. So there are 3 fixings on the Liberty 43. So that we can then remove that tunnel guard, giving us access to be able to secure the drive shaft, allowing us to remove the nylock nut. You'll also notice that the other drive belt for the motor is also located under this cover, so if you do need to replace that, that's how we get access to that belt, and also for tensioning as well. So using a 13mm, we can locate that over the shaft, and then a 19mm on the nylock. So when you are taking these off as well, just be careful in the order that you are removing them. So remove the big pulley, and then there is a spacer behind, and then the rear pulley for the rear roller belt, that's in 2 halves as well, so we just want to take 1 half off, and just be mindful of the actual orientation of that when you are removing it. So it will need to go on back that way so you can see the flat. So we've now got access to that belt. For removal or inspection. So to reinstate that, we do it exactly the same way. So the belt over the rear pulley first. So over the guide roller, and then again there are 2 guide pins, so we just need to be on the inside of those, but over the top for the guide pin for the cylinder. So we then get the half, so we want the chamfered edge against the belt, and then the flat face facing yourself, and the spacer, and then the larger pulley, washer, and the nylock. Just check the belt is free to rotate and it's not caught. We can then reinstate the cylinder belt over the top, inside of the 2 guide pins, over the rear pulley. Just be careful of the edges of these pulleys as well, because they are pressed, so there can be a sharp edge on there. Tension the guide roller, and you want about 10mm of deflection on the belt, and then we can just lock that nylock. So the belt under the tunnel guard is for your motor drive. So if you're also getting slipping from the cylinder or the drive itself, it may be that this belt has stretched or is worn. So we can tension the belt here by using the 4 fasteners, which are fixing down the power head itself. That power head fixing location has a slot, so we can release the fixings for the power head to the deck, and then we can move this power head to put more or less tension onto the belt. So with the motor drive belt as well, if you are looking to replace that, we will need to remove the power head and also this assembly here. So to do that, we need to remove the 4 fixings securing the power head. So now the belt is free, but we still need to get it over the top pulley to remove. So we use a Phillips screwdriver, and there are 2 fixings in the bottom of this plate assembly. We can then just remove the bearing from the top shaft, allowing us to remove the drive belt. So to replace your new belt, we locate that over the top pulley, locate the bearing at the end of the shaft, then line up the 2 holes, and then insert the 2 screws. So then we bring in the power head, and you'll notice there is a drive tooth pinion on the motor side. So we insert that through, position the belt over that, and then we can tension that once we've got the 4 fixings in for the power head. So if we loosely fit those, we then use the position of the motor to tension the belt. So just pushing with your thumb at the front, just push the power head to the rear of the machine just to tension the belt, and then nip the fixings up. So now we've secured the power head, we're now ready to reinstate the tunnel guard. So we locate that into position. Replace the 3 fixings. We can now insert the cartridge. And replace the cartridge fixings. And then finally we can replace the side guard. And that's how we replace the belts on the Liberty 43.